And Phil's not answering.
See them all.
Did they sing them all? What are you singing?
I said see them all.
Ah, see them all. Can't you sing them all?
I could, but you wouldn't want that. I'm looking. So one of the things we should maybe mention is that it looks like, well, it's not going to matter by the time this goes out, but Dungeon Defenders is on sale today only for $3.74.
Yes, you should buy it. I was going to tell you that when the show started. So go buy it.
Well, I'm looking. So I'm looking at the downloadable content is all also 75% off. So all of the downloadable content is $245.
You know, the only one I don't know. I haven't. Let me see here. The warping. How much are they? Let me see.
Yeah, there's the Halloween mission pack is 50 cents.
The new heroes probably is cool. I haven't played them yet, and that one came out like a week ago. I haven't tried that one. Gotcha. The Halloween costume pack that just adds more skins. I think new heroes might be more skins as well, but I haven't had a chance to play it. I know I bought it.
Well, yeah. So I'm thinking for $6 you can get the game and all of the currently available downloadable content.
Yes, you can.
I'm thinking, and it's all 75% off for today only. So I figure, why not just get it all in one go for $6?
Yep.
You know,
highly recommended. But beyond that, so recommend the game. Try. I'm sure Bob will probably be on later playing. He's always on playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to stop playing Skyrim anytime soon, but, you know.
And how many hours are you into it now?
169.
Jeez, sweet Jesus Christ. 169 hours?
Yes, sir.
What level are you?
It depends.
How many characters do you have?
I have 2.
Which one's the older of the 2?
So the first guy I made was the archer.
Mm-hmm.
And all DLC to cart, yes. I made an archer guy. And went through and leveled up, just archery. I wanted to focus just on archery, right? I wanted to do as much damage as I could with a bow. So I didn't level up any of the other skills, which isn't a great idea because you can do much better things quicker if you upgrade, a little bit at a time. But I didn't do anything. I focused all on archery. And then I found a couple of spells that were really cool that you could use. But, they aren't as powerful and they cost a lot more what they call magicka, which is your mana. And as I was going through doing these things, I would use these spells periodically, and I thought, this is really cool. It kind of makes me want to be a magic user. Mm. So I'd gotten to a certain point in the game, and I was just on the cusp of not, I don't want to say I was getting bored with it, but I was, I wanted to finish the game with this guy, but I really wanted to play a magic user. So I made a nice saving point and started over from the very beginning with a dedicated destruction mage. And then, so the archer guy got up to like level 23 or something like that. So I started playing this mage and I got that dude up to like level 50 something, 52 maybe. So that's how much longer I played the mage dude. And then, of course, as I'm playing the mage dude, I get this, it's called the Conjuration School of Magic, which you conjure things, demons and monsters and familiars and all kinds of things to raise dead, that kind of stuff. That's that school of magic. One of the things you can do is conjure a sword or a bow. Like out of the ether, you conjure a bow, and it's this purple, glowing, mysterious thing that lasts for it's like 3 minutes. This bow lasts, and then it disappears. But if you need, you just can cast it again if you want to. So I got the conjure sword first, and I was using that as opposed to leveling up or finding a better sword. I was walking around with this ethereal conjured sword, and it was pretty cool. And then I found the spell for the bow, and I was using that. And of course, what happens is I use this ethereal bow a couple times, and I start thinking, wow, I really miss playing my archer guy. So I played this mage up to level 50-something after getting kind of tired of playing the archer guy, and starting to get tired of playing my magic guy, so I went back to the archer guy, and now I'm playing him again. And now he is like level 36 or 38 or something like that. So it's actually kind of cool, though, because I've got two characters, and they're both, I don't know what the level cap is, but they're both pretty decently high level. And now that they're both equal in like their perks and things that I've picked, and their money and the houses, and they both have houses that I can use. So they're both, kind of on equal footing. One's not some guy abandoned at level 3, and the other guy's level 50. No, they're both, pretty high level. So now, kind of depending on my mood, and they're both kind of in the same spot too. The mage is a little further with stuff. He's like leader of 4 or 5 different guilds, whereas the archer is only like leader of like 3 guilds. But now I can play either one, kind of whenever I want, whether I feel like blowing crap up with a destruction mage or shooting stuff with my bow.
Good. And Phil is here now. Say hi, Phil.
Hi, Phil.
Okay. That works. And I guess I should probably put a proper start in the show.
I guess we were discussing Skyrim, huh?
Yeah, video game show 258. Right? 258?
Sure.
Say yes, good. Yeah, so we're talking Skyrim, and before Skyrim we said you should go buy Dungeon Defenders. So
I did. I just heard that it was like $375. So
yes, it is. So
purchased it, started downloading.
I would go buy the DLC too, Phil. All of the DLC they have is like $250 for like all eight things they have. And I don't know if it's worth it or not, but for $250, do you really want to say I should have bought that DLC when it was on sale?
That's a good point.
So most of them are like expansion missions, like challenge missions, which you won't see for a while. But the new heroes and stuff, there's some new skins and stuff, and some new hero classes. So that's kind of worth it, probably. So there you go.
Yeah, I wasn't paying too much attention. I just pretty much bought the game and made sure I at least got the game for cheap.
Yep. And we talk Skyrim. So beyond Skyrim, beyond Dungeon Defenders, do we have anything else this week?
Based on your feedback there, Chad,
yes.
I purchased several iPad games, and I got to say, I played Bang for the iPad, and it's pretty good. It's fun. It makes me want to play Bang.
It very much is. I did too.
Yeah, the Bang, when it first came out for the devices, had a really rough start. And actually, I think they gave it started like at $3 or $4, and they dropped the price cheap because of some problems they had. And then it sounds like they fixed all the issues they had with that one. So Bang is a good one.
The AI actually makes it difficult to figure out who's who. Because usually when we're sitting around playing in our group, you can kind of chit-chat, but then you can kind of bluff too.
And sometimes the AI is just either really good or really bad because, like, you won't know who he is, but whoever the guy who goes first out of the gate, he'll start blowing the crap away out of some guy, and it's like there's no way you know what role that guy's playing, but you just got him down from 5 health down to 1, and you would have killed him if he hadn't had that last mist in his hand. You know what I mean? It's like you could be an outlaw or a deputy killing another deputy. And that's not good. You don't want to do that. But yeah, I've had games where they focused me, like the first guy almost killed me, and then somebody else did kill me before I've even gotten to turn. So that's kind of not fun. But otherwise, it's pretty cool. And they don't use any Spanish on the cards, so you can't throw down your mancatos.
And what else did you try? Bang, you try anything else?
I
gave you a long list. So
yeah, I had Carcassonne.
And there's expansions coming to Carcassonne this week. They're expanding it with the river and a couple of traders and builders, which are some expansions to the game. So adds a little more.
It wasn't on your list, but I saw and bought Catan HD because I figure it's Catan.
Version
of Catan, and
It's actually on sale today for $2.99.
Awesome! I paid like $4.99 like 3 days ago.
Yeah, I forgot about the Catan. After I sent the list, like that one night, I said I forgot about Catan, and I was just never happy with the one on the iPad. It just didn't feel.
Yeah.
But the trading stuff, it just didn't feel good right with the trading with the computer. So yeah. But yeah, what else?
I had previously had Small World and just deleted it because I never played it because I could never figure it out.
It's
it's kind of like Risk in that it's you have a map with sections that you need to conquer, and you have races and racial abilities, but it's like I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing, and trying to read through the instructions. The instructions, I guess, were okay, but it was like I read them and I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I got sick of it and I quit and never played it again. But I re-downloaded it based on seeing it on your description in your email that you sent me. Made it sound still pretty cool, so I thought I'd try it again, although I haven't tried it again yet.
Okay, so here's the thing. Once you play Small World in reality, the iOS version is really easy to play. It's because in the real game, it's basically you get stacks of cardboard, and to take over an area, you have to put more stacks of cardboard than your opponent, essentially. And the abilities of which let you do different things. It varies how much cardboard you can use at a certain point to conquer. So if you play the real game, playing the iOS version is really easy. But you have to play it's. But the iOS version has its own big flaws. I mean, go on.
Yeah, actually, I did try it once since I've re-downloaded, and it's like I got to a certain point, and it's like you have gotten powerful enough that you can stop what you're doing and pick a completely new race of guy.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's good because it said you're doing so well, you can do this. So I figured I was doing something right, so I did it, and then I did that from that point on. I still had no idea what I was doing.
So the thing is, as your race expands into the world, you start to thin out. You can't conquer as much. You don't have as many units, so you have to put your race into decline and choose a new race to further conquest. And then that's why you choose new races. The thing is, again, if I come back in February, I'll bring Small World, and if you play it once or twice, you'll like it. It's a good game to play, but you have to play it a couple times in reality to understand what's going on. And the big part of the game is just knowing all the different abilities, the different factions and their abilities. But it's a good one. You try anything else?
I tried. I don't know what it's called. On here it says NS Hex Lite.
Hiroshima Hex.
Yeah, that. I tried that. Didn't care for that at all. Couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing. Didn't really care for it.
It took me like a month to figure that one out. So yeah, Hiroshima Hex is confusing.
And then the other ones, like I had asked you, I think that was most of the ones that you said that weren't co-op or multiplayer. And although you said you have played some of the co-op games single player, I figured I would go with the games that I already have before I try anything else. But I know the Arkham Horror one is supposed to be good. I know people who play the real board game. A couple of my friends from work actually play that real board game, and one of the guys spent like an hour explaining it to me once, and it did sound very cool. He was all excited because he had just got this was on like a Monday after him playing it like 12 times over the weekend, so he was still high on playing it.
Yeah, was he talking Elder Signs or Arkham Horror?
Arkham Horror.
Yeah, because
the actual they were playing because it's another one of those board games that they converted into a. Yes.
See, here's the thing. Here's a confusion. There is a board game called Arkham Horror. It's a cooperative. Like it's not like Descent because you're all playing against the board, but that's the kind of style Arkham Horror is. Elder Signs is essentially Arkham Horror Light. It's a dice throwing game where you're doing Arkham Horror. So it's not Elder Signs is its own board game. There's a board game called Elder Signs, which is Arkham Horror Light. It's all in the Cthulhu universe. So the iOS version, one I showed you, is the conversion of Elder Signs, not Arkham Horror.
Right. That's kind of what I meant. But
roundabout, but they're both the same kind of game, the same idea.
But that's all I've tried. Bang is really good, and I've been playing that enough that I didn't really even need, I only needed the one because it was that good.
So the only other one I'd recommend when they get it done is Dominion, because that'll probably be pretty good on the iPad.
Right. So I've played Dominion enough with you guys to know that it would be good enough to buy. That's why I'd asked you if there were any games like Dominion, and so you had said there was one that's kind of like Dominion, but is more to me. It read like it was more like Magic the Gathering, because it was more of a build your own deck kind of thing. And Dominion, from what I played, you're not really building a deck before you start playing, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like built while you're playing.
So all of those games fall under the category of what's called deck building games, because you are building your deck during the game, not beforehand. So,
well, that one to me, it's still. And I think they even said if you like Magic the Gathering, something, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, it's
Ascension. Was that the one?
Because there's plenty of games that are like Magic the Gathering, where you have cards that you build into a deck and then you play the.
Here's the thing.
That's how I took it.
Yeah, the game I recommended, I showed you, was called Ascension. That's probably that one. Right. And Ascension is Dominion's better. Ascension's more like you're playing solitaire. You're playing the board, and you're just kind of both competing for monsters to kill. You're not actually fighting the other person. Whereas in Dominion, you can actually interact with the other people if the cards allow you to do that. But both are essentially deck building games. I mean, Dominion, you're building the deck based on these stacks of cards that you both have access to. In Ascension, the cards you have access to change every turn. So it varies what you have. In Dominion, you both have the same opportunities. In Ascension, you don't. You can have different opportunities based on what round it is. So Dominion's the better game. It's a very good deck building. I know you only played it once or twice with us probably, so you don't have all the experience, but it's a very good deck building game. It takes the deck building part of Magic the Gathering, makes it a game, essentially.
Right.
But so that they're making an official Dominion app. I just don't know when it's coming out. I think sometime next year. And there's a ton of board games coming out, conversions. So
they're doing well. I mean, if so, from what I've seen, if you can, a lot of those games, Carcassonne is like the perfect example. Yep. Catan to a lesser extent, but Carcassonne is one of those games where you play the board game and it's very popular. But it takes all of the tedious, annoying things of the physical board game. In Carcassonne, you have to do a lot of math. You have to add up, if you have this amount of guys for this thing, it's this many points and this many points, and you're doing a lot of adding and stuff. And it's not too bad if you play it a lot. But the point is, though, is if you have a digital version, you don't even have to worry about that. You just play your strategy, and then at the end, it adds up all the points for everybody, and you're done. Which is why, like, the Xbox version did pretty well for being a European board game that has seen some minor success in America. To have actually sold very well on Xbox, it says something, It means it's a good game, and it's made accessible because it's digital, and you don't have to do all of that stuff. So, and I'm pretty sure Carcassonne did pretty well on iOS as well. So
yeah, it's I mean, it does really well right now because it makes them a lot of money because they really raised the price when it went to Universal. Yeah. So. But yeah.
So if you can do it very well, if you can convert your board game into digital, and it makes a good transition, and your graphics are nice and clean, and everything is laid out well, I mean, you can make a decent money doing that. And it's also more accessible. Some of these board games, like that one, what is that one Keith has that we've played?
Not Descent.
Yeah, is it Descent? It's one of those.
He's the Overlord. You're the guy trying to fight the Overlord. Going through.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons Light.
That's Descent.
Yeah, I think that's Descent.
Yeah. Yep. So Descent is fun, but it takes you like an hour to set the game up because there's 153,000 cardboard pieces that you have to deal with. The game itself isn't very complicated, but there's just little tiny cardboard pieces everywhere. It's another good reason to convert it to digital, because then you don't have to worry about all these little tiny cardboard pieces and stuff. That kind of stuff would be awesome. Now, if only they made like a 27-inch iPad so that you could carry around a digital game board.
The other thing nice about Carcassonne is you can play Carcassonne asynchronous online with other people.
Oh, that would be cool. I've had problems doing that with people because it takes people, sometimes you'll wait like 3 days waiting for somebody to make a move. Words with Friends is a good example with that. You'll play back and forth for like an hour making words, and then you won't hear from the guy for like 3 days. And it's like,
Well, I mean, if you get a person that you know is going to be online for the next hour or so, you can go through a game pretty quick.
Chris and I recommended that card game to Chris, Card Combat.
Yeah, Card Combat?
Which is, kind of like Magic the Gathering. I recommended it to him. He bought it, downloaded it, sent me a game invite, because it's the same thing. It's asynchronous. You can play, back and forth whenever. I didn't make the first move because he was chosen to go first, and he never went first. Like 4 weeks later, I said, "Are you ever actually going to play this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, maybe." And then he still never did. So he's the kind of people that you don't want to play asynchronous games with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made that mistake with Words with Friends, because I was trying to do a search, and I was trying to search for Ivan, so I typed in Drago, and then I clicked search, thinking it was going to do a search for all names with Drago, so it actually put me against someone just named Drago. And I was like, I played a word, and then I realized what was going on, and then it's like, okay, waiting 3 days, and I'm like, okay, just cancel this game, and it's like, you cannot
you have to wait.
You have to wait
resign
like
until it's your turn. It's like, okay, this is really annoying.
Well, so that was funny too, because Jill had sent me an invite on Words with Friends a long time ago, and I played a game with. I thought this random person sent me a game invite. I'm like, sure, I'll play. We played a game. The game was over, and she started up a new game, and I'm like, wow, this person likes me enough to start up a new game. We played a game like 3 months. This person, I will call her, because I had no idea who it was, because her username was like Jillian1340 or something like that. So I didn't make the connection. So for 3 months I'm playing Words with Friends with Jill, not knowing that it's Jill. And it wasn't until I think last time we went over your place, Chad.
Oh,
who knows when the hell long ago that was. And Phil had made some kind of comment like, yeah, Jill thinks it's really weird when you pull these weird words out of your ass. She thinks that, every once in a while you'll go find a dictionary or something. And I'm like, when she does what? And I'm like, when you guys are playing Words with Friends, I'm like, holy crap, that's her. So I did not know that.
Yeah, she's been giving me, those awesome words that everybody hates, like key, QI, and za for pizza, and it's like, seriously, come on, those are not words.
I quit playing that just because it got annoying.
Okay, so there's that. What else we got going on? Anything?
I haven't done anything. I've been playing Skyrim for 186 hours.
Yeah.
I was in the mood for a defense game and downloaded a fairly new one called Tiny Defense. It's kind of
iPad.
Yeah, it's for the iPad. I
think I've heard of it.
It's not very. It doesn't require a very high skill level to play, but it's free, and it takes care of the desire to play a defense game. So still waiting for some of the other ones to come down, like the Field Runners and Tweet Defense.
That's what's it was called? Final Fantasy Tactics. They never wind up releasing that. They finally released the iPhone version, but I didn't want it for the iPhone. I didn't want the tiny version when I could have the big version on the iPad. And it was supposed to come out, I think, it's one of those things where it said, quote, sometime this fall. Well, I guess technically it is still fall.
Still fall for another 20 days or 15 days, whatever it is. But yeah, I don't see it. No, it's not on here.
Because I guess they weren't just porting the iPhone version to the iPad. They were like redoing a lot of artwork and graphics and stuff for the iPad version. And they claim that if you buy the iPhone version and try and play it on the iPad, you're going to have issues.
Really?
Yeah, like it will actually say, it actually says in there, do not play this on the iPad. Or like, this is not the iPad version that is coming this fall. Yeah, the iPad version is scheduled for release in fall 2011. This app is for iPhones, so may not work correctly when played on iPad. And that's directly on the game's description. So, I mean, I got to give Square Enix some credit because they have ported and created a bunch of games for iOS. They're actually embracing it because I thought they were one of those diehard Nintendo freaks. Like they made like 1 or 2 games for the PlayStation after they had, because they started off doing stuff for Nintendo, like Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior. Those were games that were on like the first Nintendo Entertainment System, but like within the first couple of years, So they've been Nintendo diehard people forever, and then they kind of branched out a little bit with PlayStation, but then they kind of came back to Nintendo, Anyway, point being, I never would have thought that they would have made this many games for iOS, and they have. So I got to give them credit for that. Now, most of them have been ports of their stuff, like Final Fantasy 1, 2, and 3, I think they have done. And even the Final Fantasy Tactics isn't a new game. It's a port of the PSP version, I think. But still. So, I mean, that's cool. That's what I'm giving them credit for. However, some of their games are buggy, and they are really just ports. And I guess it's nice that they tell you you'll have a problem on the iPhone. And they're a little expensive, too. $16.
And they don't do Universal. They only do separate versions.
Dedicated. It's one or the other, yeah. But I guess that's okay. Like I said, you got to give them credit because they're actually supporting the platform there.
They can support it better, though.
They could. Yes, they are supporting it, although they're not doing it very well.
But, okay.
The only other thing I have is have any of you guys played with a, I guess not, huh? A DS, the newer DSs? I'm thinking about getting one for my kid for Christmas.
The 3DS?
Yeah.
I know it was discounted in price because I don't think they're selling very well. But as for playing it, no, I haven't actually played one. I've seen it.
I don't know anything about it. I feel weird not knowing anything about a video game system. I literally I have no clue.
I know that I think the Mario game actually uses the 3D well. All the other games have it kind of tacked on. So, yeah. But what else is new?
Yeah, it does seem kind of gimmicky, but I figure if I'm going to get the kid a new DS, because the DS he's got was mine. Yeah. That I bought when the DS Lite first came out, and that's been, I don't know, how long has that been? When did that come out?
DS Lite.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years? No idea. Google.
That's what I'm doing. 2006.
5 years. I said 5 years.
You did. So that's when I got mine earlier than that. When was it released in Japan? It was released in March of 2006. And then released in June of 2006 for North America. Because I actually have a Japanese version. Because back then, there was no difference.
You have a Japanese DS?
Yes, I do. Like the back in the instruction book is all Japanese. Because it didn't make any difference. Because they made a 110 and a 220 volt version. Because I guess there's a mix in Japan. And that's really the only thing that you had to worry about. Obviously, you didn't want to get the 220 one. Because it wouldn't work over here unless you had a free 220 line somewhere. But because there was no difference. You just set the language to English and you were done. And there was literally no difference between the two. I think I read that on Penny Arcade. Like when the DS first came out, one of the dudes bought the Japanese version because there was literally absolutely no difference between that one and the American version other than the Japanese version came in different colors. So when the DS Lite came out, they were doing their posts and they said, I've pre-ordered my DS Lite from whatever it was, Lixang or whatever that one importing website that went out of business. He said he had pre-ordered his from that because he did the same thing with the first one and everything, blah, blah, blah. So I did that. I pre-ordered mine from there. And so I had mine in like mid-March of 2006. Anyway, point being, it's going on 6 years old and it was pretty beat up when I gave it to my kid. I quit using it because that's when I started playing iPhone games and stuff. And then, of course, the 3 to 5 year old just beat the crap out of the thing. In the past couple of years, it's been dropped and misused so many times I can't even think. So the hinges are broke and it shuts off intermittently. So
I was gonna say if it still worked, hey, why do you know it?
Yeah, because it does work when it wants to. That, and like I said, the hinge is completely broke, so it's either all the way open or all the way closed. There is no in between, because you can't set the hinge wherever you want. So I was thinking about getting him a new one, and I figure if I'm going to get him a new one, I might as well get him the newest one they have, because that's what game developers make games for.
But typically. Wouldn't he break the new one too, or is he better now?
He's several years older now.
So the chances of him damaging a 3DS are...
It's possible, but much less likely. And he's been trusted carrying my iPad around, so if he can do that without damaging it, I figured, he can be trusted with his own DS.
Yeah, I know nothing about the 3DS other than the 3D is kind of gimmicky, and the Mario game's probably the best 3D usage of it.
Yeah, I figured you can turn that off. He can play the DS games he's got in non-3D, and it's not that I'm getting it because of the 3D, but I figured it's like $169 for a new one, and DS Lites are still, you can still get those. Actually, there's like the DS XI or whatever they were called, DSi is the new version of the DS Lite, and it's like $129. So for like $40, you can get the 3DS. So I figured, why not spend the $40 on the newest version? And
there's a switch on there to turn off the 3D. I mean, you can turn all 3D off. There's like a little slider.
So I figured, I'm like, well, what the hell? I'm not going to spend $40 less on an obsolete system that they're not even really supporting anymore. I guess technically they are, but any new game Nintendo comes out with, they're going to market it for the 3DS. So anyway.
Exactly. I think we're at about 34 minutes, by the way. So,
alrighty.
Anything else you'd like to add on to episode number 258?
I would not.
You would not.
I just want to add that I saw this PlayStation 3 commercial today, and it was pretty sweet. I sent you guys the link to it.
What's the
basically got a bunch of the Sony IPs. They all meet in a tavern, and they reminisce about like a PlayStation player. So it was pretty neat. You see like Snake, you see Drake, you see bunch of people. It's pretty cool.
Huh.
I was impressed.